Hey there, welcome back to Science Fiction. I am Salim Sadarawala, and as always, I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Carl Ames. Carl, how are you, man? How was
Pretty,
your week? Haven't seen you in a little bit.
everything's been pretty good. Staying busy with work and just chilling, getting caught up, cleaning up a few things around here. How about things with you?
Yeah, things are good. I'm preparing for my move, so in 2 weeks, I'm well 10 days technically. What is how many days this month? 31 days, 30 days, 12 days, and I move to Schaumburg area,
Okay.
my own apartment. Hey Cliff,
Oh,
how's it going?
congratulations.
Uh, yeah. So I'm just getting all my stuff together. I've been clearing out stuff. I'm getting clothes together that I probably don't need anymore. I'm gonna go give it away like Goodwill or wherever I can, donate it to. Just get rid of stuff, clear it out. Yeah, I don't actually have a lot of stuff, so I don't think the move will be actually that difficult. Um, I just have to like assort everything and make sure I'm uh on the day that we're moving. It's not like I'm trying to get things together at that point because that's nobody wants that. Anyone that's going to help me will be mad if I have if I'm not
Mhm.
ready to do that stuff. So
Right, right.
yeah, that's good. It's for work. So is summer is generally probably the busy time for you, right? Like you probably get a lot
Yeah.
more activity with people trying to go places, and especially if they're traveling. Do you do like take people to the airport, or do you just kind of stick to a certain area?
Well, we don't have a whole lot of control about where you go, and who you pick up and stuff. So I do end up doing a lot of airport travel, especially. It's pretty much like a guarantee. If I end up picking someone up and they need to go downtown to Chicago, wherever I'm at, and they need to go downtown, if I'm downtown,
Mhm.
the next person I pick up needs to go to the airport. It's just kind of an automatic thing. So yeah,
That's
might do
cool.
the airport trips like 2 or 3 times a day.
That's cool. That's cool. It makes sense. But yeah, we're back. I had to take last week off. Had some family that was in town, and I think it just made it a little more difficult for me to show. So I appreciate you understanding. Um, but yeah, we're back. We got probably the show probably won't be super long today. Not our normal time frame, just because we didn't have a lot planned. And I know we were gonna watch Lightyear. Well, I think you watched it, but I haven't yet because I just haven't had the time with everything going on. But what we're gonna do today is we're going to talk about The Boys. I have watched all the episodes so far of seasons three. I've seen the last three seasons, last two seasons in general. I know you stopped after. Well, have you seen it all? I can't remember.
No, I have not seen it at all.
Oh, okay, because I couldn't remember if you stopped after season one or that was Stranger Things. You stopped after season
Right,
one.
right.
Um, but yeah, so a lot of thoughts I have on the boys. Um, So we will get into that. That's going to be the main topic, like I said. But we do have a bunch of, well, not a bunch, a few fast flicks that we want to get into. Just give a quick update on those. So the first fast flick is Don Cheadle's Armor Wars is set to film soon. So I guess it was Jenna Berger, the producer, shared a promising update um, that was revealed that Don Cheadle, the series that led by him, will sorry, knocked my phone down. Will film in Atlanta this fall, marking the first concrete update about the show. So um, they're gonna start doing the filming in fall, so that maybe puts the show in a late 2023 or maybe early 2024 appearance. Oh, not that what picture, although the one before that one's Blade. Yep, that one, Armor Wars. But yeah, so do you have any thoughts on Armor Wars? I should be interesting. I wonder if uh oh, it's so hard to say a name because it's the double R Riri
Riri
from
Williams.
Williams. Yeah, Riri. I
Mhm.
can't say that. I think we've talked about this before. I can't say the back to back R's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if she'll be in it. I wonder who else is going to be in this thing. But yeah, are you? What are your thoughts on that? Have you even thought about it at all? Or
Not a whole lot. I do think that she would show up in this because I mean, like they're going to have the Ironheart series as well, which has not started filming. So I would assume that Armor Wars would lead into Ironheart. So I would assume she would be in there at least for an episode or two. I don't expect to see Iron Man or Robert Downey Jr. show up whatsoever because he's dead. So just to make sure we're all clear on that.
yeah, right.
'Cause, most people still think there's like a small hope that he'll come back, but yeah, I don't expect to see him, and I do expect to see Riri Williams. I do expect, um, it'll be something like the comic book story. I don't think I've ever read this comic book story, but it'll probably be around the same sort of story, just with Rhodey instead of Tony. And heck, I don't
Right,
even know if Tony was the main character of Armor Wars because there was that comic book period where Tony wasn't Iron Man, but Rhodey was Iron Man. So I don't
right.
know if that might have been during the story or not. But either way, it'll still be with Rhodey being the main character. So I think I've said it before that I unapologetically like Iron Man 2, mostly because of War Machine, because I think he looks super cool and such a badass suit that I really love his debut in the MCU. So I really like that movie, and I hope that this is a good property.
Right, yeah. So it was like a seven series issue. It was back in 1987 to 88. Um, yeah, the start Tony Stark was part of it. It was interesting. Like they called it the Stark Wars, referred to as the Stark Wars, but like the Armor Wars. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, what they do, what direction they go. They may like just the way like Hawkeye was loosely based off of the same named comic series uh where Kate Bishop becomes like the new Hawkeye, and they did that storyline. There'll probably be something similar, like this the way MCU normally does. Um but yeah, it'll be interesting. Any final thoughts on that as we move on?
Yep, good to go.
Alrighty. Emma, so next fast flick is Emma Roberts has been cast in Madame Web, as an undisclosed role. Um, they're slowly adding people to this movie, or the casting at least, and they haven't really talked about it, and we don't really have a lot of information on the movie, but they're casting people for it, and obviously Sony is going to keep doing these. We've talked about it plenty of times. With the latest one being Morbius, that was a major flop and has just become an internet meme now, and as opposed to an actual like people liking the movie. I mean, I guess there's some people that like the movie,
There's
but
some people that acted like they liked the movie and then made a meme, and then Sony re-released the movie back into theaters because they thought people actually liked the movie, and then they realized that no one went to go see it again, and it flopped twice in theaters. So yeah,
yeah, that's a marvelous prank. That's a hell of a prank. They made Sony waste money to put the movie in the theater again. That's awesome.
yeah.
Take that, Sony. That's what you get. But yeah, so Emma Roberts is going to be on in this movie, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what's like I said, there's not a lot of information on it. I don't know what there is really to talk about with Madame Web, but other than um, I don't know how they'll fit it in with the rest of these movies. Are they going to eventually surprise us and bring in like Andrew Garfield or something? I don't know. I'm still a bit I'm still a bit like whatever on them, and like I said, I'll watch it just because I watched Morbius. I'll watch every comic book movie. That's like my stupid thing that I do. Not enthusiastic about it, but I just like I can't help myself. But yeah, moving on. I don't think like either of us have much thoughts on to add, right?
Other than, I mean, the cast is got too much star power for this. At least my opinion is that it has too much star power, and I'm concerned because I think
Right,
that it's not at all worth this much attention. So I feel like it's either they got like the hottest writer with making the best script is convincing the best actresses to come on board, or they're all sipping the Marvel Kool-Aid thinking that they're going to be making a lot of money because it's a Marvel thing and not at all caring about the script. It's one of the two.
right. So yeah, we'll see. Another quick fast flick is about Blade. It kind of received a disappointing filming update. Um, the start date has been delayed until October. So they were this movie essentially has been talked about for like 3 years. They cast Marshall Ali what like 2 years ago, right? Like
Probably 3 years ago because of
was it
COVID.
3 years
It
ago?
was well before COVID. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They cast him. They've been talking about it for a while. Obviously, we heard his voice, a Blade and or slash Mahershala Ali in the end of Eternals, where he tells um, the Black Knight, aka what's his name, Dane Whitman, that are you sure you want to touch that blade? So yeah, which blade talking about the ebony sword. Um, so yeah, it's a little disappointing that they're pushing the filming a little bit. Who knows what that means as far as releasing time is concerned? Maybe that also gets delayed a little bit as far as expectations of it being instead of 2023, it gets pushed to 2024 now. Especially if they're going to be doing a lot of promotions for it. I'm sure they will. I'm still hoping that Blade shows up well before the movie. Like I want to see him in something before the movie. Actually it would be really cool if he is in one of these Halloween specials. That would be really cool if he shows up there, like somehow, somewhere. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know when, how, what they would do it. But
yeah,
like
they'd have to
I
be
would
filming it now.
right. And we have to be secret. I mean, and things leak, but you never know. They could get it done. They could get it done in a very hush hush way if they really wanted to do it. But yeah, I we'll see. Like I said, I'm excited about this movie. Just because we haven't had a Blade movie since the '90s. Wesley Snipes kind of owned that role. The first two movies were really good. The third movie, not so much. I'm sure MCU will go a different route. I still want to see Wesley Snipes have a cameo in it, maybe like a Stan Lee type of cameo in these movies. Um, and maybe say my favorite line that he says. I've said this before. It's the some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. He needs to say that line, and when he appears, that's my favorite. Like that's like my all-time favorite line in a movie. Um, but yeah, so this a little disappointment there. Um, I don't know. Uh, we'll see what happens with it. Like I said, hopefully he shows up, but I'm sure we'll eventually get more information as they start filming in October. So that's the end of Fast Flicks. Any final thoughts on Fast Flicks, Carl?
I do wonder if the delay has anything to do with what's going on with politically in Georgia, because I know a lot of
Oh, that's true.
a discussion with Hollywood trying to get out of Georgia, like because Marvel almost, I mean, they have other locations that they film in, but for what it's worth, the main lots that they film the movies are in Atlanta. It's Tyler Perry's studio there
Right,
because it's a
right,
lot cheaper than Hollywood, and then if they have to go on location, they'll do that anywhere. But that could be part of why they are like trying to figure out: do we want to keep working in Georgia? Do we want to move back to Hollywood? Is there anywhere else? I know that it said that Blade's supposed to have some scenes that are filmed in like Louisiana or something like that. So it's not all in Georgia, and there'll
Uh-huh.
be some other like actual locations that they go to. But I am curious on that, and also how it would affect Armor Wars as well, because they haven't started. That'll be in the fall as well. So I wonder if Marvel slash Disney is considering um, switching their locations, and that we might find that out within the next week or two, because or maybe next couple months. But I'd imagine it would be a big thing if Marvel say, "Oh, we're gonna start filming again in Hollywood or start filming in some other, you know, state."
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting. That's a good point that you brought up. That will be interesting to pay attention to if they decide to switch that up, because then that could delay it even further depending on where they want to go. Because doing the resets as far as everything is concerned, that takes time as well. But yeah, that's the end of Fast Flicks. Now we're going to get into our conversation about The Boys season 3. I have watched all the episodes so far. Originally, we were gonna do like half and half, but since there's already been 6 episodes, but figured we'll just talk about up to the 6 episodes, and then the final 2 we can just talk about another time. Um, we are going to play the official trailer just in case anyone hasn't seen it, just to kind of get a taste of season 3.
So, let me say it again, Cam. I may be a superhero, but I'm also just a man who fell in love with the wrong woman. Just a man who fell for the wrong woman. Fell for the wrong woman. But out of crisis comes change. Out of crisis comes change. So I spent the last year really slowing down and reconnecting with myself. And I am very excited for everyone to meet the real me.
There's something wrong with Homelander. There's something broken. He's lost his fucking mind.
Love, mommy, daddy, and Ammar. Hey, oh!
We've been on the straight and narrow all year. No killing Soups, no drinking. Even follow Hugh Campbell's orders without strangling her.
Now you're just being cruel.
Or maybe you're not such an asshole.
People love superpowers. But real power isn't this. It's the ability to bend the world to your will.
The gloves are off.
Thought we could fight Vought the right way, but we can't. It's all rigged. We have to do it your way.
We're all we've got. It's up to us. I think I have something. Maybe we can use it to blow Homelander's fucking brains out.
What's this?
Makes you a soup for 24 hours. You're gonna need it.
The whole point of what we do is that no one should have that kind of power.
For once, I'll level the fucking playing field.
I show people the real me. I mean, they fucking love me.
By the heroes and
Fuck!
Christ.
Soldier Boy.
So that was a trailer for The Boys. So The Boys, if anyone hasn't seen this series yet, it's essentially what it is. It is based off a comic book, but the comic is a parody of, like, it makes fun of comic books in a sense. It's supposed to be like, how in comics superheroes are idolized, and they're like, in many ways they're altruistic, do-gooders. They do the like with powers they have, they do good things. The boys shows what it would be like if humans actually did have superpowers, um, and how they would behave. So just to talk about season 3, and then I'll give a little bit more thoughts on the show in general. So I think that like season 3 has to me been strong as ever, as far as more it being even more outrageous than ever too. A lot of shocking moments and like a lot of graphic moments, but they're like smartly presented in a way that moves the story forward while also playing into the various characters' motives and like perspectives of the show is concerned. Like again, the visuals are definitely are messed up, and I don't think you can really expect anything less from the show in that regards. And it really turns up the pressure on Homelander. Like now, Homelander has always been like the bad guy from the start of the show, but he even gets more unstable in season 3. He's really like he's essentially like the vision of what you would likely happen if someone really had the powers of Superman. Like how like unstable, unstoppable, like can't deal with him. Like he can just do whatever he wants whenever he wants. There's nothing anyone can do to stop this guy. Um,
But is he seen as a hero or is he
no,
seen as
well,
a villain?
yeah. So he's portrayed and the general public as like more as a hero, but people on the like are know like we as a viewer know that he's not a good guy. Um, and and the lines are getting blurred with between Billy Butcher. So Billy Butcher is Carl Urban, played by Carl Urban. Um, the boys is essentially these four group of people that are out to kill all the soups. They call them soups, the superheroes. And what how they become superheroes is this. You find this out in season 1. Originally, people think that these people are born with these special powers, and it's just that's how it happens. But we find out later that it's actually a serum called VOT that they're injected with when they're like at babies or whatever. Their parents choose to allow that to happen, or sometimes um, VOT, the company, um, gets these has a like babies like in a test tube, in a test tube, like Homelander, the like the one that's Superman, essentially a parody of Superman. He is kind of a test tube baby, I believe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, they're given this serum when they're little babies, and each person that gets this serum, their powers will be different. Like they should react differently to the serum. So yeah, all in all, this season has been absolutely like the delivery's been really great, continuously unapologetic. Um, like it just like basically the boys again, like I said, it's the four group is Billy Butcher. Um, sorry, let me. Because I kind of had a. I look something up here, so I can get like the actual names of like the real actors. So yeah, so Carl Urban is Billy Butcher. I know Carl Urban, but he's Billy Butcher. Jack Quaid, he plays another one of the people who's the leading character is Huey Campbell. Um, he's part of that team. There's Laz Alonso, who's the actor. He plays a character called Mother's Milk. Um, there is Tomar Capone. He plays a character called Frenchie. So they're like the boys. Another character joins them later. It's also she's a soup as well, but she was like they like freed her, and she's not like the rest of the superheroes that are like bad, but she has superpowers. Her name is Kamiko, played by Karen Fukuhara. But yeah, so like I said, it's a
So is
parody.
she like you're saying? So is she like an actual hero that's like the viewers can perceive as a hero? Like she does
Sort
heroic
of,
things?
sort of. She's killed people. Like she starts out as a bad. So like I said, in the beginning, it's the show. The purpose of the boys for them is they want to kill all the soups, and they want to be different from them and not do the things. But now, as we're getting further and further into these seasons, um, the lines, like I said, they're trying to blur, and you're starting to see like Billy Butcher starting to crack in a sense, and any means necessary. He needs to kill all these people. Um, he need not people, sorry, soups, and he actually in season 3, um, he actually ends up taking like there's a serum, Vot, like when I'm talking about Vot, there's like an also a version where you can be a soup for 24 hours. They make like a weaker version of it. So he kind of takes that so he himself can like, do what he can to defeat a lot of these various soups that are around.
Hmm.
Um, and it's funny, like I said, it's like a huge parody of comic books, and one of the funny lines in this season. So we all know this the famous line from Spider-Man: "With great power comes great responsibility." Right? Billy Butcher, when he's in the scene, he's sitting there talking about all these soups and stuff, and he goes, "With great power comes the absolute certainty that you'll turn into a right cunt." So it kind of shows you, like, they're taking bits from all these different comics, and um, the new character in this season is Soldier Boy, played by one of my favorite TV actors from Supernatural, Jensen Ackles. He's kind
Hmm.
of like a parody of Captain America in a sense. Um, and like I said, Homelander is a parody of Superman. Chase Crawford plays a character called the Deep. He's kind of a parody of Aquaman.
Okay.
He's a very very uh, messed up character. He's like, so he basically, so yeah, he can talk to like all seas and stuff, and he's actually like, that joke about it in DC where they make a joke about Aquaman fucking fishes. He's
Hmm.
actually sexually attracted to octopuses. So they actually show him being like, sexually attracted to octopuses. Um, that's probably from his powers. I don't know why, but like, yeah, that's a fucking thing that he has. Um, but yeah, I've absolutely loved this show. I just wanted to mention a uh, couple of tidbits, or little notes that I picked up just from because I haven't read the entire comic books yet, but I've read a little bit of it, and I've done like read stuff online. The first thing I wanted to bring up is the in the first 2 seasons they were their headquarters weren't they were kind of working off of like a small room. They weren't really, or like a basement, really. There wasn't like a really proper headquarters. But now you finally see them move into the headquarters in the New York City Flatiron building. Um, in this season, you see them in that, finally, that they actually have a proper place headquarters where they're, run their operations from, or their planning and everything from. So that was something interesting. Like, they finally have a place where they have scheme, and they're properly like on the same terms as, well, not same terms, but they're on uh like same wavelength and stuff, and operating as far as how you want to, and not just like a rogue team as they were in like the first 2 seasons. Um, Another one, so like one of the characters, Queen Maeve, she's kind of a parody of not Aquaman, Wonder Woman. Um, and in this particular part, I wanted to bring up because, and it's a kind of nod to the comics, because in the comics too, she helps Billy Butcher. She's trying to help him like kill Homelander. Like, he's the worst of all of them. So
Hmm.
they obviously, Billy Butcher wants to kill all soups, but in particular he wants to kill Homelander. And she's kind of helping him, and she's the one who gives Billy in this season the 24-hour serum that can temporarily turn you into a soup. So it's kind of a nod. They show her helping him, and in the comics, she also did that as well. Um, another part, there was like a subtle nod to an upcoming college focused spin-off series, like Huey in a episode. I can't remember which episode it was. It might have been 2 or 3 of this season. Uh, he goes to this like system to look up information about another character on the show, and you see kind of these freeze frame here. Um, and these are essentially the spin-off is going to be based on these kids that are in a system. They're all soups, and they're like it's an adopted agency for soups essentially, and that's basically what the spin-off is supposed to be like. I was reading more on it. It's like a Vought owned college eventually or something like that, but I was reading more on it. There's someone mentioned like it's going to be like what's that show, that Zendaya show, Euphorium?
Euphoria.
Yeah, it's Euphorium, but with superpowers.
Hmm.
Essentially, supposed to be similar to that in a sense. So that'll be interesting as well. Um, but yeah, this so as I brought up like Jansen Eccles, there's a connection here as well where the creator of this show, Eric Kripke, again, he wrote Supernatural, and there's a lot of connections between Supernatural, like Easter eggs that I found interesting. It's obviously, the reason Jensen Ackles got the part of Soldier Boy is because his relationship with Eric Kripke, and he brought him in. But there's other characters from Supernatural, like or actors from Supernatural that have popped up in particularly this season. So you see the first one being there's this kid from Supernatural named Jesse Turner. He's essentially like a demon slash angel like thing, like has these superpowers. Although if you want to throw up that picture really quick. So yeah, he and here he's a growing up, but he plays a soup named Gunpowder in episode 3 flashbacks, like from like the olden days when he was part of like Super Bowl, Soldier Boy's like group, if you will. So yeah, that's a little. It's they, Eric Kripke went and got him for this part. That was interesting to me. Um, Another nod to Supernatural when they find Soldier Boy. So originally they think Soldier Boy is dead, and they're looking, and the reason they go looking for, uh, and like it's like Soldier Boy is essentially one of those characters like that they didn't know could be killed, and then all of a sudden you find out he dies, and like way back in like however long ago that was, like I think it was during like the Vietnam War. Um, and you find out that he when they go to find out what killed him because they wanted to find that weapon so they can use it on Homelander, they actually find out that he's not dead, and he's alive. And when he comes out of the thing that he's in, the chamber or whatever that he's been stuck in, he's had like experiments done on him and things like that, and he also has this new power uh, that when he comes out he blasts Kimiko with it, and it's kind of a nod to Supernatural because um, in Supernatural series finale, Jansen Eccles' character Gene Winchester, the way he dies is he has like like rebar goes through him, through his like he gets shoved into it essentially,
Mhm.
and in this episode you kind of see a shot like the same area ish where rebar is going through her. And Eric Kripke had mentioned, like he wanted to drop random stuff from Supernatural Easter eggs in here, so he sort of couldn't help it but to drop these little things like that. So that was a little similarities there. And another nod to move on to Supernatural. Uh, there's a character in Supernatural um, named Robert Singer, aka Bobby Singer, uh, So when Soldier Boy arrives in present day NYC, he glances at a poster that says presidential candidate Robert Singer. Aside from Bob Singer being inspired by Robert Dakota Bob Schaefer from the comics, like the actual comic book, that's the name of the character. Um, like I said, there was a character in Supernatural named Bobby Singer. He was like a big character. He was like a father figure to Sam and Dean Winchester, and he lives in South Dakota and in Supernatural. So both again, and it's the same actor here. They get Jim Beaver to play this. This person that you see on the posters, his real name, the actor's name is Jim Beaver. So he played Bobby Singer on Supernatural, as you see out here, and then he also played Bobby Singer or Robert Singer, if you will, instead of Schaefer, um, in this one as well. So just a couple of stuff like that. It was just an interesting the supernatural tidbits that they added into it. But yeah, this, like I said, this season has just been really good to me. Like this is like my favorite show so far. Like in general, like of all the shows that I watch, from all the comic book shows and things like that, this is easily my favorite show. Did you have any questions overall about anything?
Well, I think actually Muck in chat answered my question that I had when he said the boys may be the first superhero show with no actual heroes. Because that's what I was trying to
Yeah,
ask you. It was like, who say, is there an actual hero in the show?
not really. I mean, technically, Starlight, the main character who's played by Erin Moriarty, she's Annie January in there. She's technically not bad. She's technically a hero in that. She's portrayed as a good person. But yeah, there's not a lot of like, even like the boys, like I said, Billy Butcher is not really a good guy necessarily. Like he is very focused on one thing and one thing only, and he doesn't care how he does it. He wants to kill these soups, and he doesn't care who he hurts along the way to get that done. So he's kind of a, like, he's an asshole. He's a dick in the show. Like nobody likes him. Like literally nobody likes him. Um, in season one, like his original motive is to kill Homelander because he thinks Homelander killed his wife, and then they find out later on that she didn't die. She was essentially uh, raped by Homelander. Um, and they make it look like it might have been consensual, but it wasn't really consensual. It wasn't consensual, and then she ends up having a kid. And basically, they're hiding this kid from Homelander because he also, the kid's trying to show the same powers as Homelander is. Um, like his Homelander's power is transferred to this little kid because obviously that's his son. So he his wife made him promise to look after the boy, and in this season he kind of like, in the beginning he's doing that, like he's really being close with the kid, but at one point, like, he realizes that, like, look, in order for me to do what I need to do, I need to not have any roadblocks and anything like that in my way. So he kind of is a dick to the little kid, and he pisses him off, and they stop like having a daily communication and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely, I would say like this. There's no real heroes in this show. Like maybe one or two characters good, but even like Jack Quaid's character Huey Campbell, for the most part he's good, but he even starts taking the bot 24-hour serum because he gets to a point where he's because he's dating the Starlight, aka Annie January, and he's kind of becomes like where she is always protecting M, and he wants to protect her. So he's basically starts taking this serum to try to, because he wants to kill these soups as well and stop Homelander as well. So yeah, it's a, like I say, and in the comments, it's a ridiculously dark show. It's a lot of graphic scenes. The most recent one episode they had, it was Hero Gasm. is basically an orgy for superheroes, and they hire like women and all that stuff. Um, yeah, there's very like very graphic and really crazy scenes in this episode for sure. But yeah, this is I would recommend. I know I've given a lot of spoilers, but I would if anyone hasn't seen it, I think it's worth watching. If you can get it on Amazon Prime, you should do it for sure. It's 100% one of my. It's my favorite show to watch. I don't have a lot much else to add. If I don't know if anyone in the chat had questions, or if Carl, if you had any questions.
Yeah, Chad had a question. Cliff asked us what superpowers would we want to have. Let you go for it first with that.
Um, I think about the ability to like bend air because I think you could do a lot with that. Or even control water, because if you can control liquids like in general, like you can probably like just completely combust a person if you really wanted to. Like you could do anything with it. But
You
yeah,
should
probably
watch Avatar:
airbending.
The Last Airbender.
I probably should. But yeah, I would probably
The
say
greatest show of all time.
I would probably say airbending, because that would be absolutely ridiculous. You would be like the strongest fucking person easily. You would be able to control so much. Like controlling air would be just absolutely insane. That would be probably my superpower that I would want.
Yeah, you should absolutely watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I
I
should. I
love that
should.
show. It has air bending, water bending, fire bending, and earth bending
Right. Right.
with sub bending in there. I don't want to get too spoilery, but my favorite bending is water bending, and I think I am a water bender. But as far as um, Cliff's question, I personally, the way I answer that question, if it's one superpower, like a hero's power, I want to be Spider-Man, like to have his powers, but that's like multiple powers, like climbing and strength and agility and stuff. But if I wanted to have just one superpower and that's it would be the ability to fly. But the caveat is I have to fly with wings. I want to have wings coming out of my back. I don't want to just fly around like Superman or Captain Marvel or something. I want to have actual wings that are functional coming out of my back. So that's the only power that I want.
Oh, so was that Cliff's question? Like, which superhero would you want to be, or just
No, well, that's
particular?
just how I answer that question.
Oh,
He
okay,
said
okay,
what power, yeah.
oh, okay.
Just because I can't think. I just want to cover all bases just in case.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I would love to be Spider-Man too. That's my guy. You took my, you took my guy, man. What's wrong with you now?
That's why I had you go first. I gave you a shot.
But no, yeah, that's pretty much all the thoughts I have as far as the boys is concerned. Yeah, that's it. I know. Any other final thoughts overall on everything we've talked about, like even the fast flicks?
As far as the fast flicks go, nothing really. I do want to like real quick throw out one the uh Marvel will be at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con at the end
Right.
of I think it's July 20th. So they're going to be there, so we can expect to see, hopefully, like normally they have like big reveals of future content, maybe some trailers. By then, Thor will have been out already, so they won't be showing anything off for Thor. Perhaps Black Panther, because that's like the next movie after Thor. So we could see some stuff there. Um, or could see more She-Hulk. That could be another thing, because that'll be before She-Hulk debuts. So look forward to that within the next month. Also, at the end of July, the season 3 of Harley Quinn, the animated series, will be on HBO Max, and I'm super excited for that. That's my favorite show right now. And there's something else, but I can't quite remember. And then Quantez has this question here. We want to real quick talk about Gore the God Butcher. That's the villain of the next Thor movie. So his Gore the God Butcher is exactly what his name is. He wants to kill all the gods, and he does so very successfully in the Marvel comic books. Uh, kills a lot of gods, and not just like Asgardian gods, but like gods of all pantheons, all belief systems across not just Earth, but across other planets and other universes and other galaxies. He hates all of the gods. His whole idea, at least again the comic book version, is that I think it was like he was fighting someone, or there was a
No,
war or
so
something
what
like
it
that.
was is his planet was like a nameless place with like a lot of earthquakes, lack of water, wild animals are common, and his thing was like no gods helped him on like his planet. No one helped him and his planet out, so all gods must pay because of that. That's essentially his. Um, it's like a nameless planet. It's not even has a name to it, but yeah, that's his reason that he hates all gods, and he wants to go and kill all the gods, basically.
Yeah, because most of the gods are, at least from his perspective, they don't do anything. They just sit around. They're lazy. They just want to be worshipped, but they don't do anything to earn it, sort of thing. So he's very spiteful of that, and he goes out on this mission with the Necro Sword, which is the sword that gives him, because he's not like some super powerful character. It's the sword that gives him power, and every time he's been killing gods, he kind of absorbs the power and it makes himself stronger. So if he were to fight Thor right away, like that was the first god he tried to fight, he would never beat him. But he got the sword, he was killing some lesser gods, and over time just kept getting more powerful and more powerful. So that by the time he gets to which we'll see actual Greek gods. So we'll see Zeus, and we'll see possibly other Greek gods. I would assume like Poseidon, or possibly Hades, or I'm just spitballing. I don't know what we're going to see in the movie, but he will be killing Greek gods, and we do see Zeus in the movie, in the trailers. Um, and he will be trying to take out Thor and Valkyrie and everyone else in Asgard, and so on. So that is his whole deal.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, he's supposed to be a pretty interesting character. So it'll be fun to see how he goes. And obviously, Christian Bale is a really great actor. So, yeah, uh, yeah. There's,
Any
I mean,
villain? Go ahead.
any other villains? Top of my head, I'm not sure. I can't think of anything.
All right, now we don't really know what's going on with Marvel future. Like, we know a little bit, but as far as Black Panther, we think the villain
Oh,
is going to be
Submariner. Yeah,
Namor, but for the most part, they
but
haven't really said anything, or nothing officials come out with that. And then we have
and he may
the
not even
he
really be like a villain. He may just be like they're just two uh races, if you will, that just don't get along. And so basically, it's the Wakanda versus Atlantis. Prince Namar is the Prince of Atlantis, and he's similar to Aquaman in a sense. Um, but yeah, he's in the comics. Prince Namar has been he's more shown as like an anti-hero because he does not like Earth, like the regular Earth dwellers, like the Earth, I should say land dwellers, not Earth, because obviously he lives on Earth, but he just lives his species just underwater. But yeah, he like the land dwellers. He doesn't get along with them, so he's fought with like Wakanda. He has a rivalry with King T'Challa, um, but he's also at the same time joined up with them and teamed up with them. So he's kind of seen as like almost like an anti-hero esque, but like yeah, he may not technically be the villain in the movie. We're not 100% certain yet. They may just have him as like the one of the people that, or like one of the antagonists, but then maybe he later turns into a good guy, kind of the way they did in the first movie with Umbaku. Um, the man-ape, because in the comics the man-ape is a villain, but he kind of becomes an ally. He does become an ally to T'Challa. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Submariner. But yeah, I can't think of a lot of other villains coming up in the movies. I'm honestly going blank, and I don't think they've really announced a lot of like the characters in the future movies that are coming up.
Yeah, the only other one I can think of is Kang / the He Who
Oh,
Remains
that's right.
variant.
That's right.
Kang
He's
is
gonna
going to be
be
the villain
in,
of the Ant-Man movie, and
mhm.
then who knows how big this storyline is going to be with the King, like the multi-dimensional time war or whatever it is, slash incursions, if that's part of it or not. But other than that, that's about it as far as, because we don't even know Armor Wars. We don't know the villain. We don't know Riri Williams show, that we don't know that. And then Echo will have Kingpin in it when that comes out, whenever that is, Daredevil and so on. Captain Marvel's the second movie. We have no idea what's going to happen with that. And yeah, the only one is Ant-Man, I guess. And maybe if we want to talk Guardians 3, Adam Warlock for at least a little bit. Like he's
Yeah.
gonna definitely fight the Guardians, but he should probably end up joining them by the end of the movie. But we don't know
Yeah.
what they're gonna do. And
Because
that's about it. Yeah.
no, yeah, 100%. And obviously the X-Men stuff is coming at some point.
Mhm.
But like the villains in X-Men are basically humans that are bigots that hate mutants. Essentially, those are really, and there's various people that are involved in that. Like at one point, the president is like an anti-mutant person who later turns into an ally. There's Sentinels, Garrick, the guy who creates them. Bolivar Trask creates Sentinels. But yeah, there's various, and then obviously there's mutants that are bad guys. There's Magneto. We'll see what they do with that. There's Sinister, the Hellfire Club. So many different mutant characters that are bad as well. But yeah, that's about it, I think, unless anyone has any other questions. I don't see any. So yeah, that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks for everyone for joining us in the chat. I appreciate it. I hope we did answer your questions. Quantes, thanks for joining us. Cliff, as always, thanks for hopping on and hanging with us. Matt, as well, for hanging with us all the time. Yeah, definitely check out our past shows that you may have missed. There's various stuff topics, and Quantes, there's a lot of like those questions that you were asking about, like Gore the God Butcher and stuff like that. We've done episodes on Thor Love and Thunder to preview and talk about their trailer, that we do kind of talk about Gore and that as well. If you want to go back and check it out on audio or even on the video side. But yeah, you can check out all the other shows that Barroom does as well, covering all the great Chicago sports teams that we have. But yeah, that's pretty much a wrap for today's show. For Carl Eames and myself, we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Have a good night.